And I started selling home after home after home because I had two things. I did two things.
大家好，欢迎收看房产经纪工作室。那这是一个专门为华人房产经纪所制定的频道。如果你是华人房产经纪，或者是对这个行业有憧憬的话，这个频道定下来没有错的。那今天呢，我们请来了我们大哥中的大哥，
大哥中的大哥，
没错，
对，
是。
那他是小郑，我是 Jack。那我们今天请到我们的大哥哥，他是我们在进了这个业界、进了这个公司之后认识的一个好朋友，今年会卖600多栋房子，是个很厉害的 team leader. So his name is Chris Bear. Chris, can you quickly, not briefly, can you just take your time and introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm Chris Bear, and thank you for having me here today. And I'm excited to share. Getting into real estate, I always love to ask this question, like, why did you get into real estate? I've never met really anybody yet that said, since I was a little child, I wanted to be a realtor. I wanted to be a real estate agent, right? Usually kids want to be other things. We don't grow up saying that, but many of us do somewhere along the journey of our life, you get into real estate, and it's been very rewarding. For me, I wanted to be a basketball player. I don't know if you guys can see, I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan. It's Michael Jordan on the back of my wall there. I was going to be Michael Jordan.
But your color.
Well, the problem is, I grew up short, white, slow. I can't shoot three-pointers, right? It didn't work out for me at all. Like, it's just I didn't have that skill. But I did get into law enforcement at a very young age. So I became a deputy sheriff police officer at 19 years old.
Okay.
And had a great career with that. I worked 5 years alongside with the U.S. Marshals, chasing fugitives and murderers around the U.S. A lot of great things came out of that, a lot of life experience. But then it came a point in my life that I needed to make money. It just wasn't bringing in much money, and I needed to make money. I was getting older. I had children. Cost of living was going up, and I wanted to live a life with greater things. I wanted to go on vacations more. I wanted to live in a different neighborhood. Like, there was things I wanted, and I just knew that path was not going to get me there.
But why real estate is your next step, though?
I love that you asked that. Yeah. So I had a buddy who actually sold real estate. He was a friend of mine. We hung out, and I would see him like literally just be like in a tank top coming from the gym, like doing life, but he was driving a Mercedes. And, to me at the time, a Mercedes meant you were rich. And then he had a Dodge Viper, right? So I was like, whoa, like, there's money. And I honestly looked at him and I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. And I really did. Like, that was my moment. And I got my real estate license. Now, it took me 7 times to pass my real estate exam. But they say the more you take it, the more successful you are when you come out. So
I took it 4 times.
Yes,
I'm getting there.
I could have been
better.
I love it. So I got my real estate license, and for me, that license was money. That license to me wasn't, I got to figure out how to sell homes, or I gotta get clients, or I gotta find the right brokerage, right? I hate that stuff. It's not on the brokerage. I'm telling you right now, I went to a little independent brokerage that offered me literally no support from the brokerage level at all. And they took 50% of my money.
Wow.
So I wasn't relying on anybody else. They weren't giving me leads. They weren't doing this right. It was just go sell real estate. You're either going to make it or you're not. Now, luckily, I had a couple people at that time, like I said, were friends that did help me where I could shadow them, mentor, with them, kind of figure it out. But, my first few months, I was a multi-million-dollar producer.
Wow.
But I was doing things that other agents weren't doing. Okay. So when I got in is when the market crashed.
Which year?
So this was like 2009.
Oh,
2000.
same time.
Yep, that's when I got, was when the market about crashed, 2009, 10, that somewhere around there. And people were all getting out. And here I am getting in the real estate industry, and I'm excited, right? But what I learned real quick, guys, I learned this, and I hope this helps somebody today. What I learned real quick is if you want to sell real estate, get the hell out of the office. Because the only people that were in the office already had real estate licenses, so I couldn't sell them a home. The only people that were in the office were the ones that were complaining about the market all day. The only ones that were in the office were the ones that wanted to get comforted by each other about, oh, don't worry, the market sucks. It's not you. No, it is you, right? We're responsible for our actions. So I had to learn real quick to get out of the office. And I'll tell you, I had someone that told me to do a lead source during that time from that office. They said, hey, do this. And I did it, and it was awful. And I found out shortly after they told me to do that lead source because they knew it was going to fail and that they knew it was awful. And they wanted me to spend money so I would fall out of the competition.
What lead source was it?
I don't even remember now. So long ago. Yeah, if I remember, I'd tell you guys. But, you know, it's just crazy things like that where I think our mindset needs to be, it's not about who's our competition. It's about how do we all rise together.
Yeah.
Because rising tide rises all ships, right? Jack, I know you've heard that before. But we've got to be here with an abundance mindset. So during this time, I'm selling homes, I'm getting checks, right? So I'm not in the office anymore. So the only time that I'd go into the office, and maybe you guys remember this, if there's anybody still dealing with this right now, I'm praying for you. I hope your brokerage gets out of the dinosaur ages, okay? But you'd have to bring your check into the office. So you'd get a check from closing, you'd bring it into the office, you'd fill out the form, they would take the check then, deposit it into their account because they don't have enough money in the account to pay everybody out, right? So wait for it to clear, and then you get paid 7 to 10 days later. It was awful. It was awful. I hope nobody that watches this is going through that still. We're in 2023. We're in modern technology now. We get paid instantly now, right? It's instant. We don't even have to wait for a check. It's direct deposit. That's how it should be. So I'd go in to bring the check, and that's the only time I'd say. I remember one time I walked in, and someone said from the other room, they said, hey, wow, you're doing like amazing. I had like 7 checks in my hand, right?
Okay.
Like I would just once a week, once every 2 weeks go, and I had 7 checks. And I said, yeah, thank you. And then I heard the other guy go, oh, don't worry. It's just beginner's luck.
Oh, how many homes were you selling that first year?
You know, I don't even know to get back. I mean, to go back, all I know is I was making money. I'll tell you guys this. By my second year, I was making my year salary a month selling homes.
Wow.
And how much ballpark were you making as a police officer?
Yeah, at that time, oh, you guys are going to laugh too. You know, and I was higher up. You know, I was there for 11 years. You know, I was undercover agent. Wow. I was probably bringing about 43,000 is what I was making. That wasn't take home. That was gross. Wow. So after you take out everything, I was bringing home maybe $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And I wish I could say, hey, it's gotten way better because it's been now some time that I haven't been there. You know, we're going on almost a decade. I haven't been involved, but guess what, guys? It's not getting better. Yeah. They're still not making money. The pay is still, and please, anybody's watching this, if you're in any servanthood careers, military, law enforcement, you know, firefighters, we love you guys and we need you. And I'm doing everything in my power when I can to speak up that you deserve to get paid more.
Yeah. And Chris, can we dial in on your first year activity? Because it's very much like now, because the pie's getting smaller. There are not many homes for sale.
That's when you want to take. Yes. Yes. I love it.
Yeah. And also, so there will be agent not producing at all, but there are still agent doing really well. Yeah, doing very well. So what was your activity looks like?
First year.
First
That
year.
is a great question. And I'm so glad you asked that. And I will tell you, this is the market to dominate that we're in right now.
Yeah.
This is. Why? Because the agents that can't sell are getting out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when they get out, now it's not everybody has a family member that's a real estate agent, or everybody has a friend, right? Because they can't pay the dues anymore. They can't do it. And I call those hobbyists. There's a lot of hobbyists in real estate. I'm not for the hobbyist person in real estate because this is a profession. You're helping people with the largest investment that they're going to make in their life is buying a home, and you better be an expert. Yeah. And I'm not saying you have to sell hundreds of homes. You just better study. You better learn the industry, like know what you're talking about, and really give the time that it needs to become great, right? To become great. So I would tell you what made up my first year success.
Right.
And it's not anything that you can teach anyone. It's not anything that you can give to any. They have to do it themselves. It's one word, and it's grit. I had grit. And that's it. I'm telling you guys, the crazy stuff I did, I'm going to share a couple stories with you, worked. Some of it, I don't know if it ever produced a sale, but I know because I was giving into the universe doing something constantly, I believe I was being rewarded back. I wasn't sitting home praying for something to happen. I was out there making something happen. And that's what agents need to hear right now. If they're not where they are in their production or their sales, you need to go out every day and make something happen. So, Jack, you remember when it was all bank-owned homes.
Yeah.
So there wasn't many buyers. It was hard. Like, it was a very hard market. If you got a listing, it took 2 years to sell the home. 2 years was the average listing on market for where I am. 2 years. So imagine sitting down with a seller and, Jack, you want to sell your home. And I go, Jack, hey, I absolutely will list your house. But it'll probably be 2 years before it sells. It's nuts, right? So these past few years, agents have been babied. I hate to say it, but you get a listing and it's before you put the sign in the yard, it's gone already, right? But that's not real estate. So what's happened is agents were making money, but now they're not because the market has shifted. It really has, and it's going to continue to shift.
Chris, were you in Florida this whole time?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I did remember, like before, like what you said, it would take a couple months or like a year or so in our market. Fortunately, because we have good amount of Chinese people here. And in 2008, 2009, there were a lot of money coming from overseas. So we do have a little bit more buyers. But I remember what you were saying, like, yeah, home used to sit on the market. It was like shopping at like Costco. Like, oh, this one worked. Oh, that one's better. This one and that one. And so I totally agree with you. In the past couple of months, past couple of years, I think agent got a little spoiled. Right now,
absolutely. Yeah, right now, and we got to start changing our mindset. So how we sell real estate is we're not realtors. That's not what we are. We're lead generators. So our job every day has to be generate leads. Well, how do we generate leads? Well, we have to be out in front of people that are able, willing, right, to buy or sell a house. That's how we generate. And so during this time when other people were sitting at the office waiting for the phone to ring, who does that? But they still do that today. I know some people that still do floor time. I don't get it, but they do it. But waiting for the phone to ring, I was out there being in front of buyers, and here's how. This is when Zillow was just starting to take off. Okay. A lot of agents hated Zillow. They hated it, right? Well, I knew Zillow had a really good mousetrap to get buyers onto their website to look at homes. And I knew buyers weren't reaching out to agents as much anymore. They wanted to go look at the house themselves. They wanted to peek into the windows, right? And see, do we like it? Do we not? Well, at this time, majority of these listings were bank owned. So I would find a really great house that was bank owned that I knew people were going to go to look. They were going to drive to the house. It was a great deal, great house, great location. And I would get with the bank, the listing agent, and say, hey, I've got a few showings today. What's the combo? Okay, this is before I even had a showing. I say, what's the combo? They'd give me the combo. I'd say, great. I'm going to be around the house today. I don't know what times exactly. They didn't care. I said, go for it. It was a bank owned house. Yeah. So I'd park my car in the driveway and I would work on my computer, make calls, while I waited for a car to come down the road. And I'd see him slow up or her slow up, and I'd jump out of my car. And I would literally get in front of their hood. They would have to run me over to get past me. I'd get in front of their hood, wave my hands and go, hey, if it was, I never got their name right. I'd go, hey, Bill. And they would, it was always wrong. I never got their name right. And they'd go, no, I'm Bob. And I'd say, oh, Bob. I said, oh, I was hoping to meet Bill. Right? Because I wanted to meet a Bill. Didn't say I was meeting. I said I was hoping to meet a Bill. And I say, are you coming to look at the house? And they'd go, oh, well, we're just driving by. We saw it online. And I'd say, oh, well, Bob, here, I've already got the house open. I was waiting for someone else to show up because I've been waiting all day for people to show up.
That's true. That's true.
See the house real quick. And I'm telling you, everybody would come into that house.
Yeah.
And once I got them into the house, then I started building the relationship, finding out what they were looking for. Listen, I never freaking sold the house I met them at. I didn't want to. Yeah. But then when we got in the house, they'd be like, oh, yeah, we really want a pool. I knew there was a bank-owned house right down the street with a pool. That was a great deal. And I'd say, Bob, oh, my gosh, there's one right down the street for me. Amazing deal. Just came on the market with a pool. Let's go look at it right now. And I started selling home after home after home because I had two things. I did two things. One was grit, right? I did something. And second, I put myself in front of opportunities.
Yeah.
You can't be successful if you don't put yourself in front of opportunities.